Krazak's claws clicked steadily against the metal table as he observed the video for the 5th time. His piercing yellow eyes never blinked as the thermal images flickered across the screen. The footage depicted his warriors falling, one by one. "Play it again," he commanded, his voice harsh like stones scraping together. Vexlar, his second in command, shifted uncomfortably. "Commander, we've seen this. Again." Krazak's fist slammed down hard on the table, causing the video to restart. 12 of his finest Vraxian warriors, genetically engineered for combat, moved through the dense jungle of Nova 7. They were hunting, weapons drawn. Then, something shifted. One by one, the heat signatures of his warriors vanished. The humans moved so swiftly that they barely appeared on camera, mere blurs in the darkness. Krazak paused the video at the clearest image available. A human soldier, much smaller than a Vraxian, lifting one of his warriors off the ground with a blade at the throat. "How?" Krazak whispered, his voice filled with disbelief. "How did creatures so small kill our finest warriors?" "They come from Earth," Vexla replied quietly. "A death world." Krazak was familiar with the concept of death worlds, planets with extreme gravity, violent weather, and deadly predators that shape tough, resilient species. But humans were new to space travel. Just 50 years ago, they were confined to their own solar system. Now they were here, wiping out his best warriors like they were nothing. The door hissed open, and a tall, thin alien in expensive clothing entered. It was Mr. Gray, the representative from the Helix Consortium. His real name and species were unknown, as the consortium kept such details under wraps. "Commander Krazak," Mr. Gray said in a voice that sounded almost mechanical. "I trust you've reviewed the failure on Nova 7. Krazak's mouth tightened into a thin line. "My warriors were the best in 3 sectors. Whatever these humans are, they're far more dangerous than you told us." Mr. Gray placed a small device on the table which projected a hologram of several planets. "The consortium has mining operations on these worlds. All are now claimed by the humans under their protection treaties. We're losing profits daily." Krazak's ears twitched forward. He was being offered a lot of money, enough to buy a small moon. "We're prepared to triple your usual payment," Mr. Gray continued. "In addition, we will provide new weapons technology to give you an advantage." Krazak glanced back at the still image of the human soldier. There was something about these creatures that unsettled him. They moved differently. They fought differently. They weren't like any other species he had encountered. "I want all the information you have on human special forces," Krazak said at last. "Every detail." Mr. Gray nodded. "Of course. We need these creatures dealt with permanently." After the consortium representative left, Krazak replayed the thermal footage one more time. The human soldiers moved through the complete darkness without night vision implants. They coordinated attacks without speaking. They anticipated his warriors' movements before they even happened. "What makes you so deadly?" Krazak asked the empty room, watching the silent, efficient killing unfold on the screen. For the first time in his long career as a mercenary, Krazak felt something stir in his chest. It was fear. Staff Sergeant Maya Chen wiped sweat from her forehead as she entered the briefing room at Outpost Sigma, a hidden military base built inside a moon orbiting the gas giant Themis. The base was as cold as ever, but her body was still hot after the combat simulation. 5 other soldiers followed her in. Echo Squad, the United Earth Defense Force's most elite special forces team. They had just returned from Nova 7 2 days ago. 12 alien mercenaries were dead, and there were no human casualties. "At ease," said Admiral Takahashi from the head of the table. His face remained stern, though a slight nod conveyed his approval. "Excellent work on Nova 7. Chen took her seat. "Thank you, sir." The Vraxians had been tough but predictable. Around the table sat her team. Rodriguez, with his massive arms crossed over his chest. Okono, so quiet that you could forget he was there until he moved. Singh, tapping at a datapad. Petrov, checking medical supplies in his kit. and Kim, already, studying alien language patterns on her screen. Unlike the mercenaries they fought, Echo Squad had no genetic enhancements or cybernetic implants, just training, teamwork, and the natural advantages of growing up on Earth, a planet that had tried to kill humanity for millions of years. "The Helix Consortium is angry," Admiral Takahashi said, activating the room's hologram projector. It displayed several planets with mining operations. "They've lost 4 facilities to our protection treaties. Now they're bringing in more mercenaries." The hologram shifted to display various alien species. The insectoid Scj-Fj with 4 arms and natural venom, the massive Vuvians with their thick armor-like skin, and more Vraxians with their predatory eyes. "Intelligence says they're planning something big," Takahashi continued. "We need proof of their illegal operations to present before the Galactic Confederation." Chen studied the alien species on display. Each one had evolved deadly natural weapons. The Scj-Fj could detect the smallest movements from 20 meters away. The Vuvians could withstand direct hits from energy weapons. But none of them had Earth's gravity. None had grown up facing Earth's predators, diseases, or weather. None had been forced to adapt like humans had. "Your mission," Takahashi said, "is to infiltrate this facility." The hologram changed to show a massive structure built into an ice mountain on the planet Glacius. "Gravity, 1.5 times Earth's normal. Temperature averages minus 60 degrees Celsius." Rodriguez whistled. "Sounds like Minnesota in January." A few chuckles broke the tension. "Conditions that would kill most species," Takahashi said. "But not you. Get in, find evidence of the consortium's treaty violations, and get out." After the briefing, Chen gathered her team in the prep room. The walls were lined with equipment and weapons, simple but effective, all human-made. "They think they're superior," Chen said as her squad began selecting their gear. "The Vraxians, the Scj-Fj, all of them. They evolve specialized killing abilities, but that's their weakness." "Specialization versus adaptation," Kim said, checking her translator. Chen nodded. "Exactly. They're built to be perfect in their home environments." She picked up a combat knife and tested its edge. "But humans? We're built to survive anywhere." Okono, already checking his stealth gear, spoke quietly. "They've never faced predators like us." "No," Chen agreed, looking at her team, the best Earth had to offer. "They haven't." Across the galaxy, Krazak was rallying his forces, promising them technology and wealth to hunt down humans. He didn't yet realize what he was truly hunting. This time, he was the prey. For 3 days, Echo Squad trained in the simulation room. The computer generated a perfect replica of Glacius's environment, crushing gravity, bitter cold, and howling winds that could freeze exposed skin in seconds. After their 5th run through the mock mining facility, sweat soaked their thermal gear despite the simulated cold. "Faster this time," Chen ordered. Rodriguez adjusted the massive weapon on his back. On Glacius, it would weigh nearly twice as much, but years of training on Earth had conditioned his body to handle far worse. "Thinking about our friends out there?" Okono asked, nodding toward the stars visible through the station's viewport. Chen checked her rifle. "I'm thinking they're preparing just like we are." Across the galaxy, Krazak stood in the command center of the abandoned mining complex Alpha 9 on Glacius. The facility, built into an ice mountain, would be their killing ground. "The sensors are placed here, here, and here," Krazak told his assembled forces, pointing at a hologram of the complex. "When the humans trigger them, the Scj-Fj will attack from these ventilation shafts." The insectoid mercenaries clicked their mandibles in agreement. 12 feet tall, with natural poison sacs and 4 arms capable of moving faster than most species could see, they were perfect hunters. "The Vuvians will be our second wave," Krazak continued, nodding to the massive rhinoceros-like aliens. Their gray skin could withstand direct hits from most weapons, and their gravity hammers could crush bones with a glancing blow. Vexlar approached Krazak after the briefing. "Commander, the humans have never failed a mission. What makes you think they'll walk into our trap?" Krazak's eyes narrowed. "Because I understand how predators think. They're successful, confident. They'll come straight for us." The drop pod containing Echo Squad plummeted through Glacius's upper atmosphere, its heat shield glowing orange against the planet's eternal night. Inside, 6 humans checked their gear one last time. "Energy readings ahead," Singh announced, studying his scanner. "They're waiting for us," Chen smiled. "Changing landing coordinates," Petrov said, adjusting the pod's trajectory. "New drop point is 30 kilometers south of the facility." The pod landed with a bone-jarring thud on Glacius's frozen surface. The door hissed open, and brutal cold rushed in, cold that would kill most species in minutes. For humans from Earth, it was just another challenge. "Move out!" Chen ordered. They trekked across the frozen wasteland, each carrying gear that could challenge even enhanced alien soldiers. The crushing gravity made every step difficult, but their bodies, forged on Earth, adapted quickly. Hours later, approaching the sensor perimeter, Singh announced, "I've detected the alarm network around the facility." Chen gathered her team. "Remember the plan. Make it look good." "Making it look good is my specialty," Rodriguez grinned. Echo Squad split up. Instead of avoiding the sensors, they deliberately triggered specific ones to make their approach appear clumsy and desperate. In his command center, Krazak watched as alarms lit up his display. Human heat signatures appeared exactly where he expected. "Predictable," he muttered, his mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "Send in the sick tree. Clean up these primitives quickly." The insectoid assassins moved silently through the facility's tunnels, eager for an easy kill. Hidden in the shadows, Echo Squad waited. Chen whispered into her comm, "They think we're the ones trapped. Time to show them why you don't corner a species that evolved as both predator and prey." The tick tree assassins entered the large storage chamber where human heat signatures had been detected. Their compound eyes scanned the room, capable of detecting even the slightest movement. Each stood 12 feet tall, armored in a thick exoskeleton with venom sacs capable of killing most species in seconds. "See anything?" The lead tick tree clicked to his team. Only silence answered. He turned, realizing he was alone. His team had vanished, silently swallowed by the shadows of the chamber. Impossible. Nothing could take down a tick tree without making noise. Nothing cold. A small device landed at his feet. Before he could react, it emitted a high-pitched sound that sent waves of pain searing through his compound eyes. The tick tree staggered, suddenly blind. Sergeant Chen stepped from the shadows with quiet precision. "Sane sonic disruptors worked perfectly," she said calmly, approaching the blinded alien. "Exactly the right frequency to overload their visual systems." All around the chamber, Echo Squad emerged from hiding spots that the tick tree had scanned moments earlier, yet failed to see, not because the humans had any cloaking technology, but because they understood something fundamental about sight. Even the most advanced vision could be deceived by the right combination of shadows and stillness. "Status," Chen ordered. "All targets neutralized," Okano replied, appearing beside a fallen tick tree. "Non-lethal takedowns as ordered." The squad zip-tied the unconscious aliens. Unlike most species, humans had evolved as both predators and prey. They understood both sides of the chase. "Singh, get what we came for," Chen commanded. "Rodriguez, Petrov, prepare our welcome for the next group." Singh connected his equipment to a computer terminal. "Accessing their data now, looking for evidence of illegal operations. Hurry," Kim warned. "I'm monitoring comms. Krazak lost contact with the assassin team. He's sending in the Baruvians." In his command center, Krazak stared at his monitors in disbelief. All contact with the tick tree team had vanished. No distress calls, no signs of struggle. Just silence. "Impossible," he hissed. "The tick tree are the best hunters in this sector." "Apparently not," Vexler replied quietly. Krazak slammed his fist down. "Send in the Bovians, all of them." Singh worked rapidly at the terminal, fingers flying across the alien keyboard. "Commander, you need to see this," he called to Chen. "They're not just mining here, they found something." Chen looked at the screen. It showed an excavation site, deep beneath the ice. "Precursor technology," she whispered. "That's a direct violation of Confederation treaties." "This explains the heavy security," Kim said. A distant rumbling interrupted her. The Baruvians were coming. Massive, rhinoceros-like aliens wielding gravity hammers capable of shattering bones with a single blow. Rodriguez grinned as he and Petrov finished setting their trap. Time to show these aliens why humans are the apex predators. Not predators, Chen corrected, checking her weapon. Survivors. Earth tried to kill us for millions of years. These aliens are just the latest to underestimate what that means. The first Bouvian appeared at the far end of the corridor, its enormous form nearly filling the passageway. It roared a challenge, expecting the humans to flee. Instead, Echo Squad held their ground. Chen switched to tactical frequencies. Execute Trap 1, she ordered calmly. Let's teach them about Deathworld physics. The Bouvian charged, unaware it was running headlong into a lesson in leverage, momentum, and gravity, concepts second nature to humans, but alien to others. The massive creature barreled down the corridor, shaking the floor. Behind it, 5 more followed, each carrying gravity hammers. Now, Chen ordered. Rodriguez pulled the lever. The floor beneath the lead Bouvian tilted downward. Its momentum carried it forward, unable to stop. As it stumbled, Petrov activated the second part of the trap. A fine mist sprayed from hidden vents. Harmless to humans, the compound targeted the Bouvian's sensitive respiratory systems. The lead alien crashed to the floor, sliding into a reinforced net of cables. The cables, attached to mining pulleys, cinched tight as the beast struggled to breathe. Simple physics, Rodriguez said with a grin. Mass times acceleration equals a very big problem. The other Bouvians bellowed in rage, but the mist was already affecting them. They swung their hammers wildly, hitting walls and each other in confusion. Pull back, Chen ordered. Move to position 2. Echo Squad retreated deeper into the facility, leading the Bouvians through a series of traps designed to turn their strength into a liability. In his control room, Krazak watched in horror. One by one, his elite warriors fell, not to superior weapons or tech, but to clever, simple tactics even a child could understand. How? He snarled. How are they defeating our best with such primitive methods? Vexler studied the feeds. They understand mechanics and biology better than we thought. They're using our strengths against us. Krazak slammed his fist down. Enough. Activate the facility's defenses. Seal the sections. Separate them. Across the complex, energy shields activated, cutting off corridors and rooms. Alarm sirens wailed. Chen found herself trapped with Kim in a storage area, cut off from the team. Sing, report, she called into her comm. Only static replied. The shields were blocking communications. What now? Kim asked, checking her weapon. Chen pointed to a ventilation shaft. We adapt, like always. Across the facility, the rest of Echo Squad faced the same problem, isolated and alone, but each soldier continued without hesitation. Where other species might falter, humans adapted. Singh, isolated in a control room, worked quickly to hack the systems. His fingers danced across the alien interface, intuitively understanding patterns that would take most species hours. Found you, he whispered, locating a way to overload the energy shields. Krazak saw the breach instantly. The human is trying to hack us, he told his guards. Reroute power to Sector 7. Trigger a cascade failure. Explosions rippled through the lower levels. Fire and debris tore through corridors. Support beams buckled. The pressure differences generated hurricane-force winds. Krazak bared his sharp teeth in a cruel smile. Nothing could survive that. His smile faded as Vexler pointed at a screen. Through the smoke and flame, a human figure walked, calm, unfazed by conditions that would kill most species. Months had passed since Echo Squad exposed the Consortium's crimes. Humanity's place in the galaxy had shifted, no longer underestimated, no longer overlooked. But peace, as always, was temporary. Chen stood aboard the Horizon's Edge, a stealth research cruiser now orbiting the shattered remains of a rogue moon near the edge of known space. The mission was classified: investigate a sudden surge of precursor energy readings. What they found wasn't a ruin or an artifact. It was a gateway. Looks like it's been dormant for millennia, Singh muttered. scanning the monolith-like structure that pulsed with dark violet light. But something, or someone, woke it up. Kim frowned. Why now? Before anyone could answer, the gate activated. A ripple tore through space and reality bent. For a moment, they saw it. A planet that looked like Earth, but wasn't. Towering spires pierced storm-darkened skies. Oceans boiled, and a massive structure in orbit resembled a precursor construct, except it was moving. Then it was gone. The gateway shut down, leaving only silence. Back on Earth, the signal from the gate had triggered dormant systems hidden deep within the Mariana Trench. A forgotten precursor node began transmitting. The message was simple. Phase 1 complete. Prepare the cradle. Across the galaxy, ancient systems reawakened. Not just machines, but minds. The precursors weren't extinct. They had transcended physical form, and something had brought them back. Echo Squad's next mission was clear. Return to Earth, investigate the cradle. But they wouldn't be alone. New players had entered the game. The Meraxi Collective, a species that believed the precursors were gods and had begun cult-like worship of their ruins. Worse, there were humans, Earthborn, who had gone silent for decades. Now they re-emerged, changed, enhanced, modified by unknown precursor tech. The skies above Earth were no longer safe. Orbit was patrolled by black satellites with no known origin. Deep underground, excavation sites reported hallucinations, time distortions, and people going missing. And in the shadows, something whispered. They were never gone, Petrov said as they reviewed footage from a missing dig team near Antarctica. They were waiting. Rodriguez loaded his weapon. Then let's show them what Earthborn really means. The war hadn't ended. It had only just begun. As Horizon's Edge began descent into Earth's upper atmosphere, strange interference rippled through every system. Lights flickered. Gravity shifted for 0.3 seconds, just enough to make even hardened soldiers nauseous. That wasn't turbulence, Okano said, tightening her harness. That was intentional. Below, the cradle awaited, an anomaly of precursor origin that had appeared within Earth's mantle readings overnight. But the coordinates led not to the trench nor the Arctic ruins, but to a remote region of the Amazon where no satellite had ever penetrated. Lush, alive, and somehow untouched by modern civilization. "It's a dead zone," Singh whispered as they approached. "No EM signals, no biosigns, nothing." And then they saw it. A city, hidden beneath the canopy. Structures built with precursor architecture, but reshaped with human design, not ruins. Not derelict, occupied. The ship's sensors scrambled the moment they crossed the tree line. Communications died. Engines stuttered. Something had taken control. Chen gave the order. "Abandon drop protocols. We go in hard." The dropship burst through cloud cover into thick fog and landed in a clearing of impossible geometry. Stone carved into forms that defied Euclidean space. Petrov swore under his breath. "This place isn't ancient. It's alive." As Echo Squad moved through the overgrown streets, murals along the walls began to shift, precursor glyphs rearranged in real time, reacting to the team's presence. "It's watching us," Kim said, voice low, "or learning." Then the messages became clearer. Not just language, memories, visions, the collapse of an ancient star, civilizations devoured by time. A great exodus, not from danger, but from responsibility. The precursors hadn't vanished. They had abandoned the universe, but something had called them back. That something was human. "The cradle isn't a weapon," Singh realized aloud. "It's a summoning!" Just as he spoke, the jungle around them pulsed, every leaf vibrating with hidden resonance. A voice emerged from everywhere and nowhere, female, familiar. "You found me," it said. "I've been waiting for my kind to evolve enough to understand." Chen's eyes widened. "That voice, I know it." From behind the nearest structure stepped a woman. Her appearance human, but her eyes glowed with quantum starlight. It was Chen's sister, reported missing in deep space exploration 20 years ago. "You died," Chen said. "I didn't," the woman replied. I changed. I became what they needed me to be. And now, I need you to see what's coming." She raised her hand and space folded around them like paper. Suddenly, Echo Squad stood at the edge of Saturn's rings. Not virtually, physically, reality had bent. Before them loomed an object larger than any ship, any station, any world, a construct shaped like a spiral galaxy. Its arms made of thought, not matter. It wasn't precursor, it was other, older, watching, waiting, and now waking. "The precursors weren't the first," she said. "They were the children." Rodriguez took a slow breath. "Then what are those?" The woman's eyes flickered brighter. "The parents, and they're not pleased." The transmission ended. The jungle was silent again. But now, Echo Squad knew, Earth wasn't just the cradle of humanity, it might be the ignition point for a cosmic reckoning.